Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. Happy Monday everyone. Yes, it's Monday again, which means we have the Mallard. I've got two issues for you today. Not a great deal to do. However, we are adding a couple of wheels to our engine, which is great. The first one I've got for you is issue 93. With that, we've got a wheel and an axle for the front bogie. But we are doing a lot more with the tender, the body, and the chassis. So that will be a little bit of work to do. And then in 94, we only have the extra wheel for the bogie, but there is a little bit of painting. Now, I'm not doing painting today, but again, I'll group that all together and do that in a future video. So let's get into it. Let's get building.
Welcome to the workshop, tools in the light, screws and glue, they're holding it tight. Piece by piece, it's a builder's delight, making dreams in the still of the night. Let's get into it, let's get building now. Put it all together, I'll show you how. Screw by screw and a little glue too. Welcome to the workshop, it's waiting for you.
Right, so I'm going to run through both magazines at the same time. We've basically got issues 93 here and 94 here. So we've got a wheel, an axle, and a wheel and a nut on this one. So not a great deal at all. That's for the front bogie, which I'll move out of the way for a minute. So start off with issue 93. I'll just flick you through the magazine as normal. So as you can see, wheel, screw, and the axle. We do need a few parts from previous, which I've got over there. We basically need a screw from issue 23, a couple of other screws from issue 27. We need the male and female couplings for the tender and the main chassis. You'll see that I've already got the male one in place. I've had that in for a while. I'm sure I covered that on a video that I just added it in when we had it. We need the boiler, we need the tender, and we need the locomotive chassis. So I've pretty much got everything here on the workbench, so hopefully we won't need anything further. As you can see, we've done this plenty of times before. We're just putting the axle on the wheel, or the wheel on the axle, testing it for fit, taking it out, and then we're moving on to the tender. We're putting the drawbar in, and then we're doing the same thing for the main chassis. We then need to take our boiler section. We do need to cut off or potentially file a piece here. Now, originally, I've been obviously trying this in place for a long time. So these are what they're referring to. They're basically saying they're going to cut these off, the top parts. I filed mine, so mine are incredibly thin, and they do fit. But it's nice to see that there is an option for cutting it as well. So if you have a problem, if you are building this, you can cut them. And then, as you can see, we're actually screwing the chassis together with the body, front and rear. Now, when I've been playing with this and tweaking this a little bit, you remember I should have drilled 2 holes in the bottom of this, and I did in the end, but at a later stage than it should have been. So I sort of guessed a little bit of where they were. That guess didn't work out very well, and I've since redone those holes. So hopefully, I believe those two will line up with where they will need to be. I did that off camera because I've already shown you about doing those holes. And I say it's because I've been putting the chassis and the tender, chassis and the boiler together so many times. I've noticed, what doesn't fit and what does fit. So that's where we're going to be at the end of this one. So today we've got Britain's Railways, and this happens to be about 5 miles from my house. This is the Brunel Bridge. The Tamar Bridge run just here, the road bridge. I can tell that this is on the Cornwall side, and this is Plymouth over here. But looking good. So Britain's Railways, more about obviously Brunel Bridge, etc. And then we've got classic locomotives. Just that. And then in issue 94, as I said, we do just get a wheel. We did get these wires as well. I don't think we're using them at the minute. As you can see, we need the front bogie from the last issue as well. and the bogie washers, actually, it looks like. So take the axle, take the bogie washers. We're only going to need 2 of these, not the 4. Now, I have already checked this for fit in the front bogie, and it does fit okay. If you need to, you can file out the bogie bushes there. It does say about gluing these washers in place, so I might do that in a little bit. Just testing the wheel, as you can see, putting the other wheel on, and then we have that at the end of it. Then we move on to the tender again, and this is where I said we're basically disassembling it for painting. So I'm not going to do that point. So that's all there is to do in this magazine. But as you can see, basically prime it and then paint it black. Obviously, when it comes to doing a video for that, all you're going to see is effectively that part, it being brass. Then I'm going to say, oh, I'm going to prime it. Then you'll see it in primer. Then I'm going to say, I'm going to paint it. And then you'll see it painted. You'll see very little actual painting. Because obviously the majority of painting is just going to be waiting for the dry. So in this one, we've got Britain's Railways again. And Great Railway Journeys. So as it's the first little bit we've got, it's not going to take too long to do. What I'm going to do is just do this as a one piece, I think. So that goes like that. We do need our 2 washers. I'm not going to glue these in for the minute, just because we need to take this apart again anyway for painting, etc. And I think having those loose for the minute would probably be beneficial. So just going to get that lined up with the axle. And then we'll get that one screwed into place. And just grab our Allen key and just tighten that one. And then do the exact same thing on this side. So put our washer on. And then try and line up this. And then put the other screw in. So that's our front bogie looking just like that. Going to place that to one side. Next thing we're going to actually work on is our chassis. Now, one of the first things we need to do was put this little bar in. Now, as you can see, I put mine in a long time ago. So once that's in, we basically then need to take our tender or our boiler and our chassis and basically join the 2 together. Now, I've had to file off a bit at the front of this. Again, I've done that off camera. We did a little bit on camera when we actually was asked to do it, but to try and get us to fit in nicely, I filed off a bit more. I've also filed off my epoxy resin that's holding these buffers in place. Basically, just going to slide that front end in like that, so it goes under the buffers. Watching all the running gear on the side of here. And get those to go in. As I said, if they're a bit tight, you can take off those final little bits. You can cut them, but I have filed mine, so they are really thin and they do fit in now. So that's just going to sit in like that. Make sure it is as fast forward as it can go. So sat in like that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take 2 of our brass screws, which I think came in issue 27, I think it said. Just using a pair of tweezers. We're just going to screw that in there like so. Right, we'll just get the second of these 2 screws in. And then get both of these tightened. Now, if you remember, these are actually tapped holes, so they're drilled and tapped. So these just do screw in. So both of those in. I've not done them too tight. Also, we're going to be undoing these at some point in the future. Then we need these 2 screws, which are self-tapping screws, and they're just going to go into the holes at the front here. Hopefully you can see possibly on the top camera. And we'll just get that in there. Again, not overly tight. And just get the second one in. Like so. And just because it's still here, I'm going to put the front bogey back on for now. And that will keep it safe. So now I've got that in there, like so. So that is now the body and the chassis actually attached to each other, which is absolutely perfect. Let's flip that back over. So we're now going to leave the front of the engine to one side for the minute, and then we're going to turn our attention for the last bit of this pack is the tender. Now we need the front of the tender, and we need this piece, and with it this way up, I think this way up. I'm basically just going to slide it in. Now, I don't know if you're going to see that or not on the top camera. Basically, we've got 2 sections of metal. So you've got this one, and then we've got the top, this. And we just need to try and slide this piece in between those 2. And you can just about see it coming through just there. I need to line that up. And then taking the long screw, which I think came in issue 27. Just going to grab my tweezers again and use my tweezers just to position that into the hole. You'll see with this brake rod there, it makes it a little bit more difficult, but managed to get it. Then just going to get it to go in. Drawbar might need a little bit of a wiggle just to make sure all the holes line up, and then we'll just screw that one in like so. So that's now in there like that, and that's actually all there is to do in this stage. So let's now link those for the very first time like that. So that is Mallard now all linked to its tender. Looking absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button below, give us a massive thumbs up. So that's the Mallard done. Looking absolutely fantastic. Now, obviously, all coupled together with its tender. Yeah, looking really, really good. Now, so up to issue 94 now. I think that's probably only about 30-ish issues left to go now. As I said, for the painting side of it, I'll do a separate video for that, and I'll try and combine things together. If you want to get this for yourself, now obviously the part work is about 10 or so years old, so it's not available anymore. But there is a link in the description to DJH Models. I believe it was them that partnered up with Hachette to actually come up with this model. It's not the exact model, but it's very close to what we get here. So do check out those. Obviously, as well as that, they also have plenty of other models if you're interested in those as well. One of which will actually be the Flying Scotsman. Now, the reason I bring up the Flying Scotsman is currently I'm doing a Tuesday night live stream. Now, at the minute, I've just completed the Lego Orient Express. Now, one option I had for this coming Tuesday is basically using the Game of Bricks lighting kit to light it. But the other thing that came to mind whilst sort of doing this is with the Flying Scotsman, it's not in a very nice state at the moment. Not certainly like this was, where I could pretty much start this video sequence from issue 1. The Scotsman is in all bits. There are bits that are done, bits that need to be done, bits that haven't even been opened. So I was thinking for this coming live stream, so tomorrow's live stream, I might actually pull the Flying Scotsman out of its box and possibly start doing that as a live stream without and just building it. So without obviously doing the full glue this here, glue this there, etc. There will still be an element of that because that's just how I am. But it would be better than obviously having a part build as a series on the channel and just do it as part of my live stream. So do comment below, let me know if you do want to see that. If not, it might be lighting the Orient Express. I might even put a poll up and see which one's more popular. So if you want to see that or anything else that goes on in the workshop, please do remember to hit the subscribe button and ding the bell for notifications. That way you'll know when I have future videos available. And obviously you'll be able to see how well Mallard progresses as well. So until next time, I'll see you around. Cheers.